This week, I'm thankful for electricity. Welcome everybody to another Mr. Thankful 9000 video, and today I want to talk a little bit about electricity. So, quick little story time. I was chilling in my apartment, as you do sometimes, and then the power went out. Well, it turns out that the electric company was actually working on a power line nearby, and I looked it up because I still had my phone and I could have internet access through my data, and I'm like, oh, they're just working on the power line, cool. But it was like 4 or 5 hours that they worked on it, and during that time, I couldn't. There's no lights. Thankfully, it was a bright day. I couldn't turn the fan on. I couldn't turn the AC on, even though the heat of impending doom was approaching. It really wasn't that hot, but I just like the cooler climate, as I've mentioned before. And the refrigerator wasn't running. I couldn't have the running water, which I mentioned in the last video. It caused some things to be very inconvenient for a few hours, but I got through it. I was okay. But it made me realize, wow, there's a lot of stuff that we use for electricity, and I thought about it, and it's like, wait a minute. Pretty much every household appliance ever, I mean, like your refrigerator, your toaster oven, a lot of ovens now are electric. Some of them used to be gas powered, they're now electric. Your toaster, your coffee maker, even though I don't drink coffee because I'm a psycho like that. And the list goes on and on. Like there's so many things that you need electricity for. And, you know, without that, go back to the 1800s. That's the best you got. And actually, it was during the 1800s when electricity basically became a thing, and it didn't start becoming widespread in its adoption or scale until the late 1800s, early 1900s, and definitely by the 50s, even some third world countries were starting to pick up electricity by that time. And I mean, there's still areas in the world that don't really have electricity or don't have the best access to it, but for the most part, electricity is pretty much ingrained into modern life for better or worse. And I find it amazing. I find it amazing just how much we forget we need electricity for stuff. There's electricity for things that you wouldn't even like, stuff that isn't even connected to the grid. You want to drive your vehicle somewhere? Well, if your battery's dead and you don't have electricity in it, good luck. You need that. Like, you're not just gonna casually. One does not simply one does not simply go about life without electricity in the modern era. I mean, you can. It's just a lot more difficult. I mean, yes, you have phone data, but what happens if the cell towers all go out because they run on electricity? Bam, you don't even have internet access either. I mean, it's just so many things are tied up and dependent on electricity. You want your food to stay in a decent condition at the grocery store. You want it to either be hot or cold. Well, the hot plate or the refrigerator that your food was in or on is powered by electricity. You can't get away from it. It's just not really possible. And I've realized, it's like, wow, modern life is not really possible without the use of electricity. There are so many things that we consider normal now that you can't do without it, and it blows my mind every time I think about it. It's like, dang, this is crazy. Now, the modern world is built on electricity. It is also built on oil. Yes, I'm going to do a video on that. I'm sure it'll be really controversial in the algorithm. Yay! Anyway, I'm just like the video you're watching right now even. You need electricity to see this, either on your phone or your computer. I don't know what you watch it on. Maybe there's some TV viewers. But you still need electricity for the internet. You need electricity to see the screen. You need electricity to leave a comment below. I'm looking at you, the viewer. Anyways, I failed the intimidation check there, so we're gonna move on now. Yeah, electricity is just wrapped up in everything. And of course, people are like, oh, but you know, we need cleaner ways to generate electricity. I'm like, okay, maybe we shouldn't always use like, you know, all these like carbon burning methods. But I will say that stuff has gotten a lot better over the years. I mean, coal-fired power plants actually do capture a lot of the pollution now. They actually trap it. It's pretty cool that they're able to do that so that it's pretty much just steam going in the atmosphere now. And there's things like there's nuclear power in some places, which I'm of the opinion that's the future and that's what we should be trying to invest in more of. But hey, I'm just some random guy who plays Minecraft. Don't take my opinion too seriously, okay? Just take it with a grain of salt, all right? I'm not the expert here. I just use electricity to express my views. That's what we do. By the way, this is like my favorite build in this world right here. Me and my friends built that. Anyways, back to electricity. You can't do a lot of things without it. And for all practical purposes, we are dependent on it. I mean, if you really want to get deep with this, okay, you know, we need to transport things from one area to another. Well, how do we keep track of that? Well, there's databases. What do those databases need? They need computers. What do the computers need? Electricity. You can't escape it. It's built into our society so deeply, and it's built into the supply chain so deeply that there's no way to get away from it. You're not gonna get away from it. So, yeah. Anyways, what I do want to say is, you know, there's some caveats. Like I mentioned, you know, there's some of the ways we generate electricity aren't necessarily the best, but, you know, as I said before, nuclear is pretty good. I'm biased towards liking hydroelectric energy as well. And there's, I'll be honest, renewables, things like wind and solar energy, there is a little bit of a trade-off. I don't think a lot of people know with solar energy just how much cost there is to mine all of the stuff out of the ground initially. Now if you start recycling solar panels, then it can start getting to actually be pretty good over time. And as far as reducing your dependence on the grid, solar panels are a really good way to do that in some areas because you generate electricity that you can either put back into the grid or you can just be like, nah, I don't need the grid at all. I don't need it. I can give energy to the grid instead of having to take energy from it. So there's that as well. But I'll say for my personal life and my personal experience, electricity is pretty much how I do things from day to day. It's how I record for, you know, these videos that I put out. It's, you know, I need it for my vehicle to drive. I need it for my job indirectly because I go stock store shelves because I'm crazy. I mean, I'm not real. Well, okay, never mind. We're not gonna dispute the crazy part. We're just gonna move on from that and hope that only a few people are really paying attention to that. Excuse me. See, even these guys are powered by electricity. Even they're powered by electricity. Even the zombies, man. But anyways, as I was saying, for my personal journey, I mean, if I had to go live without electricity, it might be possible, but I'd have to live in like a cabin in the woods, and I would still have to have people like bring me food and supplies. Like, I guess there's that one guy that lived in Alaska off the grid for, what, 30 years? And he still had people bring him supplies. Even he was indirectly dependent on electricity all the way out there, not on the grid, not directly utilizing it all the time. It's practically just ingrained into modern society. Probably some of the only people who could live fully without electricity and really make it would probably be like certain groups of Amish, at least in the US. I know there's some I know there's some areas in third world countries where they don't have electricity and they're chilling, they're doing just fine. But I don't really know much about that because I don't actually get out enough. I play too much Minecraft. So anyways, so anyways, electricity is just necessary for all of it. You need it for modern society. You need it for all the stuff that's there is no escaping it. And I think it would be very wise for us as a society, and this is the only little bit I'm going to include. I think it would be very, very wise for us to figure out ways to make the electric grid stronger, or else find ways to sort of make it so that people aren't as dependent on the grid, as in they can supply their own electricity. They can do things like install solar panels on their house, or maybe they have, I don't know, maybe I'm sure there's people that have made contraptions. I don't know if the APA would allow them to keep them or not, but I'm sure there's contraptions that exist out there for things like, you know, hey, I made my own little tiny hydroelectric dam in a stream. You know, I'm sure something like that does actually exist. I mean, that would be pretty cool. But I'd also have to be able to afford to homestead or live in the woods. And I'm part of Gen Z, so that's just that's pretty stereotypically not possible. I'm not part of the 5%. I'm, by the way, I'm making that statistic up on the spot. The source of that 5% of Gen Z can afford a house or afford to live in the woods is brought to you by Trust Me Bro. Anyways, I don't want to speak too much on things that I don't actually know anything about, so I'm gonna wrap this up here by saying one final thing. I'm thankful that I have electricity because it makes my life a lot easier. I don't gotta live on the frontier and deal with wondering if my food is gonna keep that long, or how my water supply is, or anything else, because I have electricity and we've got access to it through the grid, and it's pretty reliable where I am. I know there's even areas in the US where it can occasionally get interrupted, but I'm lucky in the fact that I don't really got to worry about that. So, yeah. But anyways, next week we're going to talk about oil, which I'm sure is going to be really, really good and isn't going to be controversial at all. Yeah, it's going to be controversial. I already know. But I don't care. I'm going to talk about it anyways. Because, like it or not, it is part of modern life. So, I just want to say thank you for watching. Tell me what you're thankful for in the comments this week, and if you have any fun stories or anything to add about electricity, if you have some elite ball knowledge for us, please share it in the comments. I do try to read those, and I appreciate getting to see feedback on my videos. So, as always, take care of yourselves, stay thankful.